Welcome, dear friends, to 40 Nights with the Master, and this is day or night 32. Believe it or not, we're 32 days in this oasis. Jesus walked in the desert, and we are in the oasis. Why? Because he's in the desert of our hearts, and he already created the oasis of life, with fruits to nourish our souls, with water so we'll never go thirsty again. Never ever. And how are you feeling, friend? Yes, you're well? Exciting, huh? And today we are going to study chapter 29, which is titled The Skeptical Scribe. And it's interesting because this comes from a book still in Portuguese, titled Contos desta e de outra vida. And we are here to go through this very unique experience. Again and again, Mentor Joseph asks us to remind ourselves to pay attention that Jesus was teaching all of us naturally, like a good doctor, taking care of each and every patient. A good doctor cannot heal the masses if he doesn't go one-on-one and one by one. Chico Xavier walked in the footsteps of the Master. He had a relationship with the masses through person by person. So Spiritism is the consoling message that is customized to each one of us, to you, to me, and to... Ta-da!
Hello, friends. It's a joy to be here with you.
Thank you, Carol. Right, Carol?
Right.
So, what is the customized message that Jesus is bringing to you? What is it? So that's very important because many people are concerned about a movement of the masses, but Jesus was not concerned about it. Because knowing the human mind, he knows that we can only achieve a certain level when we allow ourselves to be touched in a unique way. And that's the customization. Spiritism shall be customized person per person, by person, and then everybody together. Spiritism is not like this. Oh, we talk to everybody and everybody is fine. No. It's to you, to me, to each one of us. We need to find in this chapter today the customized message for each one of us that fits in the unique moment that we're living in right now. What is it? Before we go through, we'd like to remind you that this May 6th, Saturday, the United States Spiritist Federation is organizing the 11th United States Spiritist Symposium. This is very relevant, and we should be very reverent. Why? Because it's an opportunity for us to join forces. Join forces with a group of spiritual doctors, nurses, therapists, teachers, who are going to be there to rescue people in both worlds, through the talks, through the welcoming station that for the first time is being organized, one-on-one conversations, opportunities for everybody to feel welcomed, to feel that they are heard, to feel that people are there to reach out to each one of them. They can lean on each other's shoulders, right? So, come. The registration is so symbolic, but the day is mesmerizing. A day of service, a day of inner transformation, of deep healing, and you're invited. Just go to spiritistsymposium.org, do your registration. Don't forget, Until this April 18th, if you want to fly for free, just send us a video telling us why you like Cardiac Radio and why you think God gave us reincarnation as a just and good action of His to give us opportunities to grow. We are giving away 2 tickets. Just take a video, respond it, and send it to us, and you may win and come there, meet us, dance with us, enjoy a beautiful feast together, shall we? Aha! So here we have it, beautiful community. Hello, Adilson, how are you? Hello, Luciana Antoine, how is everything? Hello, Rihanna, how are you? And Raquel, gratitude to you, beautiful mom. Jussara and the sunflowers, always aiming at God. Yes, Jussara. And Lea Severo, how are you? Ceissa, how is everything? Valéria Benfica is here. That's great. Kátia, how are you, Kátia? Beautiful heart. Patrícia Santiago, beautiful bouquet of flowers and love. Thank you from all of us. Hello, Sol. How are you? Beautiful flowers. Erica and Danny, how are you? Aline, thank you for joining us. Carol McIlvain, how are you? Enilda, a big hug also to Glaucio, right? Also, you wish you could go? You're going in our hearts, okay? Marcia, how are you, Marcia? And Erica is saying, I had a beautiful dream last night with Carol when she was teaching me something important. I lost my anxiety. I have been stressed out my comprehensive examination that is coming. So thank you, Carol. You're a great teacher. We love your comments. Danny and I were discussing that yesterday.
Aww.
Aww.
All the love to you.
Thank you, Erica and Danny. Enilda, you're so funny. Yes, well, so we'll be there, hopefully, God willing. Rosalind Rosa, how are you? Ah, Rudy. Yes, New York City here. Thank you, Rudy. Margaret, how are you? Thank you, friends. Thank you, Carol McIlvain, for being here with us. Are you ready? I'm going to tell you. This one, your jaw's gonna drop, so hold it tight, okay? Your jaw is gonna drop, and I'm not kidding. Humberto de Campos is revealing something that is like, what is he saying? Okay, let me just share here because people ask. Vanessa, don't forget about us somewhere else, okay? I will not. All right. Boom. All right. The skeptical scribe, Jesus rested. Yes, he rested. In the house of Igorin, the tanner, in the village of Dalmanuta, when Joab, a scribe from Caesarea, sought Jesus in the company of Zebedee, the father of James and John, who had great appreciation for him. They left the boat. While walking, the city friend, who had never contemplated the sweet Nazarene, spoke of the sorrows he had suffered. Joab felt sick and in supreme revolt. He wished to hear the Lord's word to be sure of his conduct. He said to be riddled by injustice and slander. Zebedee and Joab exchanged spontaneous and affectionate impressions when Igorine's home was seen at a distance. Around the shack, sick people were gathered together, and amongst them a slanderous and mature man stood out, shouting, stentorian. He was taken in a hurry. He was excluded from the picture, thus defying the curiosity of both travelers. Then, in the atrium of the poor house, Zebedee asks of an old crippled woman who was the miser. The old woman informed him that he was a madman in search of the master. Then James and Peter appeared in haste and said that Jesus intended to absent himself for a prayer in the mountains. When Joab heard this, he penetrated the house alone, finding the generous Christ in a humble room, meditating in silence. Master, he claims, weeping, after being comforted by the first greetings, I'm heartbroken. My thinking is under fire. I am humiliated due to atrocious injuries. I've been smitten, Lord. They've smitten me. They dishonored my name and stole my bread. What shall I do to the evil that strikes me? How can I behave before the enemies who cover me with slime? The celestial friend said, forgive always. Lord, how can you forget evildoers and ingrates? You do it by always noticing their condition of infirm. Infirm? How come? If they pursue killing, well, they would not do that if they were not insane. Master, Joab insisted, Master, I must clarify that my opponents are dangerous thieves. Then they are even more unfortunate. Unfortunate? Why? If they have beautiful homes and flourishing lands, by tomorrow they will descend to the tomb, abandoning theft to unknown hands. However, Lord, they want to arrest me for no good reason. It does not matter, my son, for every delinquent is bound in himself to the shackles of darkness. Master, Master, yet they lurk in a sinister trap, foretasting my death, all armed with murderous daggers. Forgive and pray for them, said the Christ with serenity. Pray for them, forgive them, because it is of the eternal law that justice be done. Whoever hurts will also be hurt. In despair, the scribe added tearfully, Lord, I am alone, stripped of everything. They deceived my wife. They robbed me of my children. They accused me without guilt. Jail awaits me. I have always revered the laws. I kept the principles but all my pain is born of the hostile shade of infamy, the one that surrounds me. Benefactor, what should I do before the claws of the mud? Son, forgive always. Forget all evil. Do all the good, because only the good is light that does not go out. Unable to contain the astonishment that betrayed him, Joab slipped sideways, asking his surprised friends outside, "Please, tell me, please, where will I find Master Jesus? I want to hear Jesus' word." The reckless scribe retained the impression of having heard the madman he had seen upon arriving at the house, not Christ himself. Now, if you think the scribe is crazy, let's customize the message, okay? Somebody comes and kills somebody in your family. They slander you. They steal from you. They leave you like all alone. They put you in jail for no reason. And Jesus says, forgive them. Are you going to behave like the scribe, or are you going to say, yes, Jesus? We're going to say, what? Are you kidding me? What about justice? Come on, human justice. Jesus is yet to be felt. The scriptures need to be felt. First and foremost, in this text, we need to observe in between the lines the description of where Jesus would be serving. And this is not demagogy. This is not the La La Land of beneficence. No. Where was he sleeping? He was resting in a shack. Okay? But remember, probably a shack today would be better than at Jesus' time. Now imagine a poor shack filled with people who are sick. No bathroom, by the way. Okay? No bathroom, no stove. I mean, the conditions are completely changed from the current times. If today would be hard, imagine at the time. And to the point that people who would come in would not recognize him, because he was not seated in a throne. He was not dressed up in a different way, to the point that this man, though Humberto de Campos does not describe the way Jesus was dressing up, he not only got confused that Jesus and the madman whom he saw at the beginning were the same, because he wasn't sure who Jesus was and the words he was giving were strange for him, but also because the way Jesus was dressing up was simple. Why? Because he didn't want to take care of himself? No, he was culturally adapted. When you go visit people who are less fortunate, you don't dress up the way you go to a party. And Jesus was not dressed up as if he were in a party. He was not dressed up as if he were a master who is to be served. That's why people couldn't recognize him, because he was not putting himself in a different position. Not only because of the content of the words, but his attitude. He was not looking forward to mesmerize the masses or the men like an oracle. You know, some mediums nowadays, they feel like mesmerizing others with their abilities, so people respect them. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. Or fortunately, it doesn't last too long. With Jesus, that manipulation does not exist. So the first thing here for us, therapeutically speaking, is to ask. We need to be careful about the blind spots again. Are we manipulative? Are we? What is to be manipulative? It's when we work around the thought process and the feelings of somebody. We try to have them think the way we want and feel the way we want, and thus we're manipulating them. And it's valid for people who manipulate to use lies and to be not sincere and authentic, because usually people who are coherent, authentic, they don't manipulate. So much so that people get confused, like, I don't think this person has all these mesmerizing, magical qualities. How about you? When you're expecting to meet somebody who is deeply connected with the higher forces, the God, etc., do you imagine people who have like powers, magic, and are going to do things to make you feel mesmerized? Because if we still have that mentality, we're still in the childish level of development, psychic-wise. There is a moment that Spiritism comes to us and take this all away, saying this is fantasy. Jesus is not a master of magic. He's not a manipulator. And he is guiding us to the same direction. He's saying, if you feel insecure to the point you need to manipulate people, stop it. You don't need to manipulate using masks. Be authentic. But be authentic in a respectful way to people. But be authentic. Like what? For example, remember yesterday when at the end of the conversation Peter was stretching his arms to embrace Jesus, and Jesus went away? He didn't go away saying, no, Peter, we're not going to give a hug today. You're grounded. You're going to stay here, look at the corner, or thinking chair. No. Punishing. He just went away. He went away. He left a message. He was keeping his eye. You don't need to hurt people, but you don't need to do what they want you to do. Because many people manipulate others by giving them what they want. And then they can manipulate. Are we manipulators? Because in this whole text, we see. You think Jesus didn't know that this man was not going to believe him? Of course he knew it. Why didn't he make an effort to convince him? Why? Do you feel frustrated when people come and go from spiritist centers? When they come and go from good things? Don't be, because Jesus never manipulated anyone to keep anyone. People need to stay for their own sake and awareness. We empower people. How? By telling them they're good. They can do it. We are not here. They don't need to depend on us. We don't want people to look at us and say, oh, Vanessa, you're great. Oh, Jussara, you're fantastic. Please don't go there, because the great is God. Fantastic is Jesus. And we are just sharing. Students sharing lessons that we're learning together. But we need to observe if we're manipulating our children, our spouses, our friends, our colleagues, society as a whole, relatives. What about my anxiety, Vanessa? Because I feel if I don't do this and if I don't get people to actually tell me X, Y, Z, or if they don't do something, I feel frustrated. Pray, breathe in and out. Right? Yes, let me say hi. Tânia Bezerra Salagaj from Estero, Florida. Beautiful, Tânia. Thank you for being here. Marisa is here, Carol. Marisa, Enilda. Klaus already knows that this time I'd like to be here to enjoy this morning. I gave him. Ah, you're adorable. Adorable. Adorable, adorable. Laura, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Angelita, how are you? And friends, here we are. Let's go back to other highlights, shall we? It's very important. First, the house. A shack, sick people. But Humberto de Campos is so skillful at the description that he shows the madman being taken away. And when the man goes in, he doesn't recognize. Sincerely, if you go in a psychiatric hospital, there's a doctor, there's a nurse, and there's a patient. You think you wouldn't know if you're talking to a doctor, a nurse, or a patient? You would, right? By the way they're dressed, by the way they behave. Jesus could not be recognized because of what he said, not only, but because he really mingled. He never wanted to be outstanding. That's a second therapeutic question for us. You know, when people have parties, you know, I only have 4 brothers. I never had a sister, so it's interesting because I never had that thing that's, it's interesting. Sisters, I have friends who have sisters and they say, oh, we talk to each other before we go places and parties to know what we're dressing up. Wow, that's cool. I've never done that. But do you think Jesus, you know, some people are too overly concerned about how they're going to be dressed so they can be noticed. We need to pay attention. To pay attention to the agenda we have when we're dressing up every morning. And think, what is the message that I'm sending to people? I know there are days that we're not even thinking. We just dress and go, right? Because we're sleepy. Sometimes the clothes we want are not washed. And sometimes the ones that are ready don't fit in any longer. I remember there was a Spiritist symposium. I was with Virginia. I had to go. And I didn't have time. I bought one dress and then I realized the dress had some golden holes here. And I was like, oh, Carlos, what do I do with this dress? I don't, but you know, I said, you know, whatever. I have a child. And not sleeping the whole night because they wake up ever so often. You know, God forgive me. It is what it is. The only dress I found quickly, and that's it. But some people have time. Sometimes we have time. Now we need to think. I remember Godinho, Jorge Godinho, when we were at the SSB with teenagers, and he was telling about the importance of parents teaching their children not to feed their vanity. Yes, they can dress up in like superheroes and princesses. That's fantasy, it's not vanity. Vanity is by the time they're getting to their preteen years, teenage years, and they feel like if they don't do a certain thing, they're not beautiful. we need to go from the get-go and say, I remember Divaldo teaching this to me, saying, we need to tell people that they are beautiful. Em português, say, você é bonito, não está bonita. Ah, você está bonita. You look beautiful instead of like, you are beautiful. Instead like, oh, you look so beautiful. No, you are beautiful. And Divaldo taught me that insight, you know. So we need to pay attention to this, to see the beauty and teach the beauty and feel the beauty beyond the physical, the appearance. Okay? And Jesus here, of course, he was probably put together for the time, but not to the point that he was outstanding. He was not like, I'm dressed up as a master and you're dressed up as somebody else. No, to the point that the men didn't recognize. That's a point for us to keep in mind, okay? Oh, Raquel, my daughter Emma says, Mom, you don't look beautiful, you are beautiful. That's adorable, Raquel. That's adorable. Thank you for sharing. Love is love. I saw our friend Jacob there. Hi, Jacob. Thank you for being with us, okay? Now, more. Non-verbal lessons of Jesus, because the verbal is striking, but the non-verbal is amazing. The man gets in. And remember, Jesus was about to retreat and meditate in the mountains. Oh, I didn't know Jesus meditated. Yes, he did. Yes, we need a break. And lately, in the Harvard Business Review, there is an article talking about the more people work, the more time for meditation and break they need to recompose themselves. So we need time away to recompose ourselves, to recharge. Tonight at the Spirit Side of Virginia, we were on some part of the study, the training for past givers, and we are studying from the Genesis by Kardec, when Kardec reveals to us that the vital energy that sustains our material living can be renewed through breathing. We can nourish ourselves through breathing. And this is not a new agey thing. It's life. When people say, this is not a spiritist thing. Oh, yes, it is. Because it's universal. Science already proves it. And Jesus used to meditate. Meditation means he would recharge himself through breathing. We're not being ostentatious here, thinking like, I know what Jesus was doing there, because we don't know. But we know parts of it based on what we know nowadays. He was meditating in silence in a humble room. It's interesting because the madman was just taken away. And when the man gets in, they say that Jesus was going to retreat to go to the mountains. But he was already meditating. But he says, the generous Christ. Meaning, he was not going for meditation, not to be available to people, but to be recharged, to be more available. Can I give you a tip? The virtual passes. Kardec Radio, kardecradio.com. Go there. We have a link. Virtual passes. 10 minutes. It's in Spanish, English, voice of a woman, English, voice of a man, Portuguese from the group in Brazil, all the choices. I mean, the main possible choices for us here. And 10 minutes. I confess, I do that every day, at least once a day. Otherwise, it's maddening. You need a break. In between tasks. If not possible because you're a mom, or because you're a surgeon, or because... Take 10 minutes. Put the virtual passes. recharge. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, through that different breathing pattern, we are creating a new vitality. In the mitochondria of our cells, one of the parts of our cells, we produce ectoplasm. Through breathing, we can boost that generator. Okay? Virtual passes is an idea. Okay? It's an idea. 3. And hello, Jacob friend. And Leah Severo. You do it every week. Great, Leah. And singing. Singing to the body. Every little cell in my body is healthy. I'm going to let you. Kara's going to sing for you.
Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad that every little cell in my body is happy and well.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carol. And here we are, friends. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah, people loved it. Me too. And this is an opportunity for you and I meditate. Meditate on with Jesus. Meditate with Jesus. He was generous, but he needed time. The celestial friend. He's a friend. He's saying, forgive. Forget the evildoers. Justice is a law, so you don't need the eternal law. Justice will be done. Don't worry. But he's always saying with serenity. Serenity. So a good antidote to people's anxiety, affliction, so you don't feel contaminated. Focus on your inner serenity. Visualize Jesus in his serenity. And visualize the guardian angel of the person, the protecting spirit around. So you don't feel it's just between the two of you. Feel the presence of your protecting spirit. And when the conversation is going too strong, allow the friends from the beyond, the good ones, to lead the way. I'm going to tell you of an experience, okay? Today, in the morning, I was in a yoga class. Yoga is very good. Breathing, stretching, muscle strength, everything. The teacher is a very good teacher. But I could tell she was not feeling well. And I was also recharging myself after a night that Virginia was not too well. And I was there, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel the negativity. I could feel the vibrational field of her. The teacher was not doing well. It's like, what's going on? But I asked for help. Peter and the disciples always asked for help from Jesus whenever needed. We need to do the same. But ask your guardian angel, saying, I was there and I said, I don't think it's going to work. Her vibrational field is too bad and I'm not able to stay here. Till the point that she took away one of the layers, and underneath there was a shirt saying something so negative, saying, I am killing and I am sore. I understood, we are in a gym. I understand what she meant, but it's so negative. People say, I hate to say this. Oh, I hate that. Such a strong word. We need to be careful. But we're not careful. And the teacher was talking, because she was not feeling well, so she wouldn't stop talking. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not gonna work. I never have my phone next to me, but I forgot my phone on and was near me. I heard it. I said, oh, great. Joseph heard my prayers. He's calling me. Oh no, it was Carol. Actually, it was Joseph through Carol. And I said, I'm going to pick up. Of course I will. Then I explained to the teacher, and it was an excuse to leave the room. So I also I said, oh, thank God, Carol. I talked to Carol. We hang up, and I said, Joseph, I'm going to stay here in the machines. I'm going to finish this 20 minutes outside. I can't go there. And he smiles and said, Vanessa, do you think you come here only for yourself? You're here also to help. We're counting on you to help. And I said, how do you want me to help? He said, just go there and think something positive so we can help her. Okay. I went back, thank God. The spirits are so good. She put back the shirt. I couldn't read that negative wording. Great. And then we keep doing the exercises, and I'm following Mentor Joseph's instructions. Think something good and positive, like a rainbow of flowers. And then I start, shh, okay. At the end of the class, when she finished, funny enough, she started sharing with everyone that she wasn't feeling well. And she was apologizing. She said, you know, I'm so sorry. Today I'm not feeling well. I hope you guys understand, etc., etc. And then I said, Joseph, should I go talk to her about a turmeric anti-inflammatory thing? Should I talk to her about something positive? He smiled and said, you know, just smile. Smile to her. That's it. Can I give her a hug? Vanessa, smile, because I don't know her enough to hug, right? And I smiled, but there were other people who were giving her recipes right to left. So I smiled, and when I was leaving, she said, thank you, and I'm so sorry. But she was so meaningful when she said it, and you could tell a layer was falling off of her. So the spirits were operating on her, with her. A lesson for me. Because we usually feel like we're places to receive. But everywhere we go, the good spirits are counting on us to give something. And as Jesus already said to Peter before, the only gift we can give is the gift of love, of compassion, of acceptance. Repeating mentally the sentence, I love and approve of yourself. People will feel that vibration. They'll feel less pressured. They will feel comfortable. And they will relax. Often our chronic stress do not come from the duties that we fulfill, but the resistance that exists in our energetic fields, that the tensions and the need to be on alert all the time, that boost our sympathetic system, part of the autonomic system, and make us feel like so stressed. Bottom line, all we need is love. Dun, 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 dun. All we need is love. Love. Love is all we need. Right? Yeah, thank you, Carol. I know. You know, we need to put ourselves in the hands of our protecting spirits as apprentices. They're here to teach, and St. Augustine said in the Spirit's book, you're not going to tire us from your questions. Ask questions. But Vanessa, I don't listen. Ask. And wait. You see. Keep going. Right? Hello, Rita Di Cassia. Yes. And here we have, thank you, Jacob. But the Master Jesus is simple. He doesn't try to impress. Going to the beginning of it all. Do we try to impress people? Mesmerize people? to feel loved and accepted. You don't need it. Many of us feel that need from the inheritance from the childhood in this life. Parents are usually very tired and they feel like impressing the children to be loved. They feel like they have to impress the father or the mother. Like the other day, Virginia looked at me and said, "Mom, are you tired?" "No." "Are you this?" "I'm frustrated." And then she learned the word. And the other day she was asking, "Are you frustrated, Mom?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I'm going to give you a hug." And I said, "Thank you, Virginia. Thank you. I feel better." But, we need to tell them that it's not them. We're not frustrated because of them. Because usually they think it's because of them. And I say, it's not you. It's something else. But usually they take it and they feel like they have to impress the parents to get the attention and the love that they need. If we have done this a lot in our childhood, when we grow older, we keep repeating that because we still feel the need of it. Okay? Okay? So let us make sure that we don't need to go back in that same pattern of impressing to be loved. Just be. You are loved. You are a child of God. You don't need to impress to be loved. You reincarnated to learn to do good with God. Okay? You are a child of God. You are a child of God. You do not need to impress to be loved. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Go to sleep if that's your case. If not, Rihanna, Julija, Valeria, continue your days and blossom. Blossom wherever you are, because we're going to stay together and hopefully tomorrow we'll meet again for another day or night with the Promised Consoler. Right, Carol?
Right.
Thank you.
Good night, friends. Good morning, friends. A beautiful day or night with Jesus.
Thank you, Carol.